Hey there, welcome back and thank you for watching. We have what I hope to be a pretty simple video today. We're going to change the antifreeze in the Massey GC1723E, and I'm going to run through that with you here. I'll try to be quick because this should be a pretty simple job, right? But there, if you're thinking, I guess, of a first-time tractor owner, you've never done something like this, you may be questioning it, I'm thinking. And maybe to the point where you're saying, well, I'll put it off. And then you put it off another year and, right, and it gets out of hand. So I don't think this is going to be that big of a deal. I've looked at it and I already see a couple little nuances, maybe, little things that maybe I'll try to share with you, and then we'll learn along the way as I go through it. So I'm going to step to the side here for those of you who really just want the instructions on how to do it and then go do whatever you want to do. I'll put it on the screen here. This is the step-by-step that should be in the user manual that you have, along with the refill capacity and along with the specification for which antifreeze to use. So let me start with which antifreeze to use. Obviously, the concentrated AGCO brand, I guess, would be the preferred, but it doesn't really matter. From what I can tell, not like hydraulic oil, maybe, right? But I did see, and I'll paste that in here too, on the back of the AGCO bottle, some specs, some standards, I guess is what it is, that their brand meets. So I attempted to make sure I got a brand that also met that spec. And then I read on one of the forums that low silica, I think is what it was. I'll circle it here. Formula is good for diesel engines as well. So in the process of doing that research, let me show you what I come up with. I come up with the Zerex G05. So this is a 50-50 mixture. So this is going to save me from mixing concentrate with 50% concentrate with 50% water. This is ready to go. So really, I guess if you wanted to get the concentrate, the AGCO brand or really any other brand concentrate, just remember you want to mix that with distilled water, not tap water, because there could be minerals, or spring water or bottled water. Nothing. This distilled water would be the water that would have no minerals in it. But this brand of Zerex, this G05, checked all the boxes. Spec wise, checked the boxes, so that's what I'm going to use. It should take about 1.25 gallons to fill it. So I've got 2 gallons, so I should have plenty left over. So let's just get started. As stated in the instructions, we have to remove the overfill tank. And so I'm going to show you that right now. It really wasn't that hard, but it is a little tight getting that tank out. So let me try to give you a shot of that. So here's the overfill tank, or overflow tank. So it just lifts up off of here. And you can see I've already got it loose. But it's got 2 little tabs down in here in the bottom that sort of dig in, I guess, to the tank. And that's what holds it in. So you sort of have to pry that out some before you can lift it. It's pretty tight. That was actually not easy to get out. But let me show you why they want you to remove that and rinse that out. All right, to do that, I'm going to pull this overflow hose out and get in there and just show you there's like gunk on the hose. It's that needs rinsed out. So getting that out was, like, I guess, the first thing. So now it just pulls out. I don't need to disconnect any of these hoses. Now, of course, take the cap off. Let me show you the other side though. On the other side here, according to instructions, it's take this hose off to let it drain. And then they say to take this plug out. I'm guessing that plug's got some kind of sealant on it though. And I'm not so sure how critical that really is. And that's right in the engine block. So I think I'm going to let that alone and just see if I can get most or all of the antifreeze out, just by, pulling that overflow hose off. And then the last thing before I actually get started with the work is I'm doing this the day before it's supposed to rain quite a bit. So here's my thought. This stuff is toxic. So if I spill even a little bit, of course I'm going to wipe it up, clean it up and everything. But that's not going to stop the dog from being attracted to it. So I think it'd probably be good, you know, tomorrow. It's going to be like a day long of rain, soaked, you know, so any spot is going to get way diluted and washed out, and I should be good. Now I'm going to try not to spill any, but you guys know how that goes. So I'm going to get this old rag over the alternator just in case like a drop or piece of gunk or something comes out. I don't want that getting into the alternator. Okay, so this is completely loose now, and the tank is loose, so I'm just going to lift it off. Now that hose I'll wipe off. This tank I will rinse out. We've got the drain pan here. Of course, that's for oil. That's empty right now, but that should hopefully catch anything that splashes. We'll get that off. We'll wiggle that a little bit to hopefully break that free. Okay. All right, so I just brought it up over that wire tie to keep it from dripping off the tractor. All right, now let's take the cap off and see what that does to my flow rate. Oh, that almost hits the axle. Not quite. Here's a closer look at how it's hooked in this overflow tank. You see just two little notches there, and there's two little indentations in the metal. So you just got to get over that hump there to get that out. And there's a groove here that it slides in. So up and out. All right, got to clean this thing out. Okay, so I just put a little bit of water in there and then just swished it around, you know, covered it and swished it. And I mean, that looks pretty clean. So we're just going to put her back on. You should be able to see there, I just wiped that hose off, all the gunk that was on it, which I guess gunk, what I'm calling gunk, was really just antifreeze that, you know, was kind of more concentrated, since that's the overflow tank. So let's put this tank back down in there. There. All right, so that's all popped in. Let's go finish the drain. I've let this drain go for a while here. Let's see, is there still, yeah, maybe there's still a little bit more on there. Not much. And put that back down. Just like to orient them just like they were, in the same grooves, figuring it's going to apply the same pressure point and keep it from leaking. All right, here we got our Zerex. So, you know, I don't know if stuff settles in those, so gotta give her a little shake. And let's fill her up. It should take over a gallon. And I checked the drain pan and it's pretty heavy, so I'd say I've got a good gallon out of it. All right, well, we overfilled a little bit, and I don't know if that's because I didn't get a good drain on it, because I didn't take that engine block plug out, or if it just needs to run a little bit to circulate. But there's only one way to find out. We're going to start it up and run it, and we're going to see what happens. All right, well, I let it run for 5 minutes, and that's full. But it said to make sure you had some in the overflow tank, so I'm about I don't know, halfway between low and high there. And if we check my fluid, I am at about, that's about half a quart. So I used about 2.5 quarts. So definitely shy by about 2 quarts on the full change. So I guess that's because I didn't remove the whole, you know, the block plug. But you know, I just don't want to do that. I mean, yeah, look at that thing. It's just screaming trouble. So I'm not going to touch it. But here I am now. It's the next day. It's about to start raining. And I will tell you what I am going to do. I'm going to do another drain on the radiator. I won't clean out the overfill tank again. It'll just be a drain and then put another 2.5 quarts in it, and that will mostly flush it through. So if you look on the back of the AGCO bottle here, they recommend flushing with water, but I'm not going to do that. I'm essentially flushing it with the 50-50 mixture, because if I put water in it and flush it and run it a little bit, I'm not going to get all that water out. So then when I refill it with the 50-50 mixture, my end concentrate is going to be less than 50-50. So I don't want to end up in that state. So I'm sort of following the instructions here. I think I'm catching the intent of the flush. I'll run it for not 10 minutes. I'll probably run it for a couple hours before I do a flush and put another 2.5 quarts in it. And that should do it. So that's how I'm going to do it. And I'm looking forward to any comments anyone might have. I appreciate you watching, and definitely comment below if you've done this before and you have any tips, suggestions, things I should have done different for next time, because there's going to be a next time here for me coming up pretty soon.